You have people listening from every corner of this planet. No knowledge has been dispersed so beautifully, so balanced across the planet, of this planet ever. Maybe in the universe. You have the full potential of achieving everything in the universe. There is no need and there is no reason for man not to achieve. So, wherever you are, the way I taught you to make the coils, double coil inside, you have continuous equal gravitational magnetic field, and if you put CO2 on it, and you put zinc on it, you have connected the emotion of the man to it on a stable condition, and you'll find out you become a very peaceful man. Here, instead of having galaxies and universes and creating connection magnetically, we have used the matter state gravitational magnetic field strength to dominate and dictate the shape of the plasma. The nano-technology, the nano-material which you have collectively developed in different ways, by caustic, by electric currents, by whatever, fire or whatever, has that advantage that the matter, the nano and the plasma is very strong. The power of the plasma technology, the way we have thought, is beyond imagination of the man. Now you can create and control the plasma, which is the mother of the creation of the universe. You are given the seed of the essence of the creation. The foundation does not belong to no one and is not made of one anymore. You are developing it. You are structuring it. And from today, we'll develop the technology in different names, in different colors, in different nationalities which they do not exist. It is beautiful when we see the Christian, the Muslims, the Jews, and every other belief are working together to build up systems. We already have become one nation and we already have become one planet. You got to remember one thing. Dates is irrelevant. Today is the last day of the Christian calendar, or tomorrow is the beginning of another. One day is connected to another. We don't stop. We are working around the clock. The Keshe Foundation team is working irrespective of time, position, to achieve what we set out for.
Would you like to be one of the first humans in space using plasma technology? The Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute is now taking applications for the Man-Originated Zone Habitation and Nutrition Training Program, or MOJAN. The goal of MOJAN is to teach trainees how to create and utilize the magnetically oriented joint habitation and nutrition system that will be used for life in space. Be one of the first humans in space using plasma technology. The 3-month MOJAN training program begins in the fall of 2016. Apply today at mojan.kfssi.org. Trainees will be taught every aspect of plasma technology needed for them to go to space and survive, and will be educated in space ethos. Participants are expected to bring the knowledge forward to the peoples of their nations to prepare them to become peoples of space. Matter propulsion technology. Today on Earth, we use inefficient and costly rocket propulsion technology, which burns fuels to overcome the magnetic gravitational fields of the planet to go to space. We power our rockets, our cars, and our homes by burning matter to release the energy that we convert from one form to another in order to create motion and usable energy. As well, to achieve objectives, rockets, for example, have to carry large and heavy payloads of fuel, which means that they're payload dependent. Matter propulsion technology is very destructive, inefficient, polluting, and wasteful. Now, let's look at the new alternative: plasma technology. Plasma technology uses the properties of the entirety of plasma to create motion, lift, and energy without destroying the characteristics of matter. The system utilizes magnetic and gravitational field interaction to attain positioning and motion. Nothing is burned, there's no waste, and no pollution is created. Plasma technology is efficient and not destructive. Current human scientific achievement is the result of a progressive evolution in science and technology over thousands of years. Plasma technology is the next step in that evolution. It's viable and it's here today. You could be one of the first humans in space using plasma technology. Apply today to the Mojan training program. The Universal Council invites you to attend the One Planet, One Nation, One Race event in Rome on the 9th and 10th of September 2016. The Council looks forward to open interaction with the public at the event. Come interact with the Council in your spoken language. The Council encourages you to bring your positive suggestions and solutions to the table on how humanity can move forward as a whole towards everlasting peace. In this way, the work of the members of the Council will become the work of humanity for humanity. The full package price for a single ticket to the event includes 3-night stay in one of Rome's prestigious hotels, daily attendance to the event, as well as breakfast on the 9th through the 11th, and lunch and tea on the 9th and 10th. Accommodations for this package is based on double occupancy. The full package price for 2 tickets to the event includes 3-night stay in a twin-bed room in one of Rome's prestigious hotels, daily attendance to the event, as well as breakfast on the 9th through the 11th, and lunch and tea on the 9th and 10th. Additional night stay are offered at €150 per person per night. For those who wish to arrange their own accommodations and who plan on attending a single day of the event, the cost will be €200, which includes tea and lunch on the day of the event. For those who wish to arrange their own accommodations and who plan on attending both days of the event, the cost will be €400, which includes tea and lunch on the day of the event. The One Planet, One Nation, One Race event in Rome. Come share your positive solutions on how we can work together to bring everlasting peace to our world.
Welcome everyone to the 21st International Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. It's June 28th, 2016, and it's Tuesday, and we have Mr. Keshe once again to deliver today's teaching regarding the international scene. And I believe he is ready to go here in the background. Mr. Keshe, are you there? Maybe we have to unmute you. Let me see here.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, there you go. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. Yes, yes. Good day, good morning, good afternoon to you. As usual, whenever you listen to these knowledge seekers programs, as we see, the number of knowledge seekers are increasing quite rapidly. At the same time, we see the intake and uptake of the technology has taken a new dimension, a new direction. As we announced last Thursday, the development of the new power generators, a number of organizations have approached the Keshe Foundation for delivery of the technology or mass production in certain nations. Our response to you is very simple. We have developed a technology which itself is part of the structure of the work of the Keshe Foundation. Once we go into delivery around September, we will expand the manufacturing to the Keshe Foundation manufacturing only, which means we will not allow it to be manufactured outside till we come to an agreement with certain organizations around the world. We're limiting it to this because it is so profound that it can change geopolitics in Mongo. It already has started. We've seen it in past week. The MAGRAF systems will stay operational. We're still selling the MAGRAF system. MAGRAF systems are produced. A number of people would like to have the MAGRAF systems for whatever reasons and will carry on producing. We have in the stock some 2,500, 3,000 units which can be dispatched, and the back of it, another 10,000 or 9,000 pieces. The generator units will be delivered according to the European standard, and we are not changing in this time. That will take a standard American or Australian or other nations. Goods will be only supplied, manufactured from Italy. The manufacturing technology of the power system then will be discussed by and through the Keshe Foundation organization, how we will develop it to be done by the others. But till that point that we deliver from our factories here, nothing will be developed outside Keshe Foundation. There are a number of announcements to be made on Thursday. Please be present on Thursday. There is a number of things that will expand the technology and the spread of technology across the planet. The process of producing, we are on the verge of the spaceship development. We're on the verge of lift and takeoff, which will be the next system on offer from the foundation. We are not concentrating so much on energy at this moment. As it's completed, it has to go through its production process. We are more concentrating on the sale and development of spaceship technology, which means systems which can fly, systems which can protect, systems which can bring a new position in delivery. I see this in the next few weeks. We will deliver a full flight system in a very short time. Development is on its completion, and we are waiting for a couple of other things to happen, and then we demonstrate a full flight system. The whole understanding of the space technology, as I was teaching this morning in a private teaching, is understanding the process of the plasma, and in a way, we've gone so fast that a lot of people who are coming on the foundation and joining us, they do not see the connection. For this reason, Keshe Foundation on Thursday morning will announce a new way to teach for you to be hand-on. Please listen on Wednesday morning, you will understand. We are bringing the technology to the masses across the planet in every shape or form which you can bring in, that people will do everything themselves. It's been agreed. Hopefully everything should be in place by our team by Thursday morning. Then we announce it, and we'll see how you take it. We made the blueprint. Some of you made the system, some of you made different systems, some of you came up with a different innovation of the technology that you see it as working and being able to do the process. For those of you who understand the technology, it's very good because you're evolving with it and you're going further. For those of you who have become to know the technology, you are very vulnerable because we've seen it, how people cannot understand. It's against the laws which they've been taught, and now they are teaching something else. There must be something wrong with the new teaching because the old one fits in. In the old science, in the old physics, in all the principle of the chemistry and a lot of the physics of the past, be it in nuclear, in other kind of physics, everything has been a lot of assumptions. A lot of reality has been ignored. In the plasma physics, nothing is ignored. Everything is considered because it's all one thing. Is one element, is one matter, is one entity, and the only thing you need to understand is how to interact two entities of the same, and in what way, what position, in what condition, under what circumstances. Then you'll find out it is not the equation of 1 by 1. It is not one-dimensional. It is non-dimensional. It has no end. It's infinity. It's absolutely, there is no way you can count that the system is unique. In a way, because it's the only way, and nobody else can do it any other way. As I always say, you can play with the plasma. Now that we have come to this point, in so many ways, to create as many stars and planets and galaxies and universes which are on this, in this universe and cosmos, and you can even create more. The beauty in the hand of the man that can understand and control this technology so rapidly is the understanding that you have a matter which you can contain it, you have a matter which you can dictate it, you have a matter which, because of the structure of this planet, can be made to become the plasma of itself. So in making the plasma of the matter is your biggest problem. As I said, we are used to touching, and what we touch, we trust. We have to understand that even the touch itself is magnetic field strength positioning. How you touch, if it's soft, if it's hard, if it's hot, if you can hold it with one hand, if you can feel it, if you can smell it, if you can taste it, if it has the emotion, if it has a direction of movement, if it has both emotion and direction of movement. Every word in the vocabulary of a man which indicates understanding of the man in his environment has a strength. Now is for us to understand and develop technologies that can replicate that strength. We've seen you, as I always say, with the taste and the smell of orange. You manage to transfer the taste and the smell and even the energy of the orange. We have gone a step further. In the teaching of this morning, we have explained a next step in the space technology that in a way brings to you why we say we are about to show you the space ship and the lift without connection to the matter state. Our team, our connections tell us that other scientific organizations are on the verge and are working on the same technology to understand more, and we will see the results of their outcome of their work. But in fact, if you look, the plasma technology is very simple. As has been the biggest problem for man, we did not understand the principle of gravity. Now that we have, the game has changed. We have made the gravity a holy grail of the physics, of the science of man, and that has caused us all the problems in the world of physics. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. You used to have a magnet. You put them in respect to each other, they find a distance. You have the planets, a moon, Earth, the sun. According to their own strength, they found their distance, their position. Now, we play with the plasma. No difference. So, we are not bringing something new that is being claimed is fake, is fraud. It means the people who claim to be fake and fraud is themselves because they missed the boat and now they want to abuse the understanding. There is as much fake about this technology as those who have to claim it because they try to confirm their existence by opposition and by everything else. When you have a magnet, the two magnets find their position. That's what we call magnetical gravitational position. When you have a moon, a sun, in respect to each other, they do the same. That's why Earth is where it is. You do the same with a plasma. This is our magnet in your hand, stars and their moons and the planets, the gases in a bottle which you carry. What do you make? So it's for you to understand, it's for you to start learning how to manipulate these distances, these interactions, these conditions that one of the, let's say, four get close to the other while the other one takes distance. What happens if one rotates slightly in different angle, or what happens one turns slightly with different speed? Everything will change the position and the direction of the motion of the fields in the others, where everything is interactive. But because it's on a gravitational magnetical field, is instantaneous. This is why, for example, in the health section, nowadays you take a medicine, you wait to see what's the outcome, if it works, and if you have the results. Where, for example, as we see with the reports from the doctors, because of the interaction on the field level, cancer results are literally within 30, 60 days, which is unheard of. But in fact, the second you take a position within a cancer system which uses a magnet system, you have already started the process. So the system does not need to wait to interact because it's on the line of gravitational magnetic field strength of the matter or the gas of the matter. The interaction is immediate. It's like when you put a magnet in the middle of metals. everything gets attracted. The interaction is instantaneous. And this is where a lot of problem has been created by those who are not prepared to accept the new technology, because to them is the story of the Edison and Tesla. It's something in it in their pocket. As we all know, Edison caused a man to die. He created the electric chair for execution. He put an elephant on the plate to die to show Tesla's alternative current was something wrong with it. Because, in fact, he invested a lot of money in his technology. There was nothing wrong with Tesla's technology. Tesla technology was correct because it's for the matter state, where Edison technology was correct for the plasma state. A lot of development which is done by Tesla is good, applicable on a matter level. That's why Tesla is well understood, and some of his work which crosses between the plasma and the what are called matter state has not been understood by the man. But when you look at the work, and most of the research was done by Edison, he worked totally on a DC, which is the plasma. At that time, when he was there, his knowledge was not understood. He could not translate the totality because he was only interested in a financial return. Those of you who work around Tesla understood the matter state of the plasma, and those who worked around Edison understood the plasma condition, what we call the direct current. Because plasma does not alternate. Plasma creates a continuous field which you decide what you want to take out of it. So, in fact, if the scientists go back to most of the work of the Edison, now they find a lot of common ground that they can work with. It's DC. When you push a DC through a barrier of the matter state, then you have the alternative, because it has to find a way to get itself in, and it has to find a gap which it can get itself in. In fact, if you look at the AC, is nothing more than epileptic shock. If you but controlled with a rhythm. When you have a magnetic field, which is a huge amount of it, and it has to go through a narrow bandwidth of the matter spacing, it goes in pulses, because when it goes, the next one is like a drop of water. AC is nothing but literally drops of water from the space of the plasma. You can create that very easy. You can take it out and drip it. So those of you who have a problem with understanding the plasma, start looking back on the work of Edison, because you feel safe with it, you feel good with it, and you understand the DC much better. But once you understand that, you have already come to understand the work of the plasma. A continuous, it's you, as I was explaining to some scientists, it's a huge river. You have to decide where you want to make a dam to take the energy from it, or when you want to put a bucket to get something out of it. You call it energy equal the power to power a power station, to power a car, whatever you need. Because now you don't need with the plasma to have oil, gas, whatever. When you have the plasma, you make and you decide to use this energy as a plasma or as an oil or as a gas. This is important. The reason we go over this in the international teaching is because we're getting a huge number of people who are coming onto the foundation and the work of the foundation, and they want to understand. And those who prey on the lack of the knowledge, they can tell whatever they like. We see a number of people in different television and programs and radios are opposing the Keshe Foundation work, and we thank you for it. You are bringing a huge number of people to the foundation and our work because they listen, they have intelligence, they check. They never heard about the Keshe Foundation. One of the best things, as I was talking to some of my colleagues in the past few days, is our opposition. Because they go out, they put so much out that the people start looking, and then it makes sense to them because they're not stupid. So they become more active in understanding the technology. And for that reason, we are responding for this to understand more. Where does the technology come from? The understanding of the whole process is very simple. If you work with plasma technology, as I say, you have the base. It's you who have to decide how you manipulate the energy you have created. In so many ways, plasma, those of you who understand how to make a gas, how to make a nanomaterials, how to make a liquid, you are all of you have become oil barons of the present generation, because you have access to all the energy you need. Up to now, you had oil, but if you wanted bread, you had to go and sell your oil to get bread. If you wanted medicine, you had to go and pay for your medicine to sell your oil. With the plasma technology, your plasma is your energy. Your plasma is the energy of the bread. The plasma is the energy of the medicine. And this is what is scaring the world leaders of this new technology. This is what has brought and is bringing to the attention of the people. Do I need to spend $150,000 or $250,000 on a cancer, chemotherapy treatment, and the rest of it, and still, if I succeed, 2 years later, there is another secondary cancer. Sorry, we missed the first one, or it has regrown. Now with this technology, when you handle the plasma for cancer, not only you radiate the cancer itself, but you radiate the cause of the cancer. What we see is no secondary cancer to come back. This is what is frightening the World Health Authorities. On the other hand, it's the same with the food. On the other hand, the more and more now we develop, one system in the house is a complete system for everything the man needs. No man can be taken a slave for any reason anymore. No food, no energy, no light, nothing, there is nothing in the world. You want to make a dress out of the silk for yourself to go out, you can do so. You can make silk. You want to make threads of gold, you can wear threads of gold. You want to have a steak and chips, or you want to have banana, everything now is in your hand. You can do, you can develop, and those who say this is all fake, because those are the ones who have lost control. We don't. We teach openly. We teach you for you to do it. It's you who's building, who's using cancers and everything else. It's you who's walking away with diseases. It's you who gradually is filling your what are called bank accounts with the monies which you are not paying for energy. And it's you who is taking the pleasure of spending the extra time that you don't have to slave to be able to enjoy life. One of the biggest problems with this technology is the leisure time will become a normal habit. We haven't seen no animal in the jungle to go to the office and to work to get food or to rest. But the advantage with a man is you can do the same, but you can enjoy the lifestyle like everybody else across this planet. From now on, you decide where you want to live. The village mentality of cramming millions of people in one area because it's the only place where we can provide water and electricity and transportation with this technology is over. You produce water when you need, you produce electricity when you need, you produce shelter when you need, and middle of desert is as good as center of New York. Thank you. With a technology that you control every part of it. Every part of it. You learn how to produce cans. You produce liquid plasma, which is actually the information of the knowledge we have given you in past few months, and we are going very rapidly through it. You transfer the energy of the plasma into mono energy package. We call it the liquid cans, or go back to the field, what comes out of the liquid cans, and then you understand you are a free man. We've seen, we explain the development. Understand your freedom. No one can stop you from enjoying the freedom of this technology, except those who are used to it. We will explain a lot to you on Thursday. A lot of you will stand around. On Thursday, we have some shocking news for you. So shocking that some of you might turn against the foundation, but it's good, or some of you might turn off against the foundation, it's good, and some of you will understand that those who turn or go away from foundation will be 1 in 100 or 1 in a million, but will gather 7 billion. Because we explained to you how the process has been done. On Thursday, we open what is, what you haven't seen, and why and how they are trying to block everything for you. Otherwise, there is nothing wrong with it. Because now you have every possession which you wanted. Those of you who are after materials and you see gold, you can make gold. Those of you who want diamonds, we have explained to you in the teachings how to make diamonds. We had our friends from East Europe on last week explaining to you how they make CO2 very fast using a carbon. I tell you, we done it last week. We remind you again. Get a high tungsten wire, very powerful. Start creating nano gas material, as we taught you. Create a very high power that, as you've seen, by the speed of the flow of nanomaterial from the copper, you create different colors. So the flow of the current dictates the speed. If you can control the speed and be able to put a tungsten or a high electric power across on the surface of the carbon, you've seen your beloved volcano which rains diamonds. You will be collecting diamonds any size you need. Enter gas. As we explained to you, you decide the color of the diamond. Depending on the temperature and the cooling of the system, You can literally rain diamonds into the bucket. All you're doing, you're turning the volcanic eruption upside down. You are not boiling it, but you're working at such a low temperature in the carbon that as soon as atomic carbon is released with the heat, exactly like a magma, in blowing itself out, you make yourself a popcorn system, gold popcorn or diamond popcorn. You can do this with more or less any elements. Very hard, but very easy. We should see a lot of people selling diamonds. But if all of you and a large number of you can create diamond this way, does diamond have that value? The same you do with the gold. The same you do with making elements. In space, if you understand the control, if you make the shape of the matter state, do you need furnaces to melt metal to make the shape? All you need to do is to make a filter, the shape of the material you want. Whatever you leave will come out of the material in any shape, form, and size. Be it the circular, you want a shape, whatever you need, you dictate the flow. You change the position, gravitational magnetic field, immediately after the separation, you have a copper here, you create gold here. On Thursday morning, Ghana Atomic Keshe Foundation will present a sediment result. Already I'm in the position of it, but it'll be significant when they show you, and then you understand exactly how the new technology is going to be used. These are documents issued by a leading atomic energy organization, which is connected, affiliated to the Keshe Foundation. Working together, we bring the technology, and today we have seen African pictures coming in from Ghana. The students from all over Africa are attending lectures and teachings about the Keshe plasma technology in the universities. All high graduated students who now start understanding and converting technology. We have moved everywhere except in one country into the frontiers of science, and as usual, those who stay in one country because of one man have to pay for their own work. And we will explain this all to you on Thursday. Thursday is very important. We try to explain and we try to bring with you the knowledge, the understanding of the change and application of the technology. We see now doctors working in applying the new science to the different types of medical application. In a coming time, we'll ask the doctors to present their papers in public. We teach them if they work and they're happy with it, the knowledge given to them has to be used by the other doctors in public, because there is no classification in showing the technology works, how it saves life, how it can change a painful condition to comfort. This all needs to be added by the other scientists. So from now on, in a way, from next few weeks, we move from a lecture room type here into a laboratory time where all the teachings are more or less hand-on. We've never done this before. We used to do it in the Sansano 2 years ago in some cases, but now it'll be taught everything on the table. We don't allow nobody in the center. Everything we pre-plan, what we're going to do, and it'll be demonstrated or be brought in to be shown. we start moving back into the lab for the completion of the development of all the technologies, be it production of water, be it lift and motion, be it production of energy. So if you want, you can share with us the knowledge. We will learn this kind of teaching from next term and seasons, because the theoretical part of the technology is over. We add to it as it comes, as it need be, but we all from now on work to one direction. Showing, delivering, teaching, and being proud to be shown. And those of you, I clearly, because you're on the international side, those of you who receive threats from a number of people who threaten you or come and use your name or whatever, we show you exactly how they work. We show you exactly how they're trying to stop the progress of man for the benefit of their paymasters. Because now you can come, you can show with the knowledge that your knowledge can save someone's life, your knowledge can bring a new technology out, a new way of looking at it, and we give you a big platform. What is important from now on, we wait for you to ask a question, what you want to know, and we answer, because we have covered the totality of the development of the technology on the theoretical part and most of the practical part. Now it's just filling in the gaps. Are there any needs to do this? Yes, there is, because you will understand on Thursday morning why. On Thursday morning, you will see we clean up the path, we clean up the sheets of the Keshe Foundation and what has been going on, and we bring a new method of teaching into operation. A new method that you all can participate in. A new method that you make the difference, and this is important for us because then we all make the difference in the structure of our lives. You don't need to wait for a doctor to tell you, Madam, I cannot do anything for you because you don't have the money. You tell him, thank you very much. It's nice for you diagnosing it, but I know what to do the rest of it myself. I know how to make a GANs, I know how to place my system, and I know what to do with myself. In a way, the whole knowledge now grows as inside your homes, inside your factories, inside your companies, and we will see the change. And more or less, as I said, our teaching is over. We've done as we could. Technology on the spaceship has completed. It's for the people who've done it to show it. And the medical application is on its way. It's just learning more and teaching more in how to use the same thing in different ways. The production of material is depending on how you want to produce it. Do you need to produce materials? And for you lot to develop it further, because in so many ways, from now on, we are back hand-on, teaching, working, explaining, and those of you who just joined us recently or you heard, there is enough knowledge in the background to study, to understand. And if you have questions, you can come back and in the process which we have set up to go through it to be able to develop it. Are there any questions?
Just checking there, Mr. Keshe. Hang on a sec.
Pardon?
Definitely some people are interested in this idea of the tungsten wire or tungsten rod Flint says, from my notes, copper rod with a tungsten wire wrapped on it outside will create gold. A graphite rod with tungsten wrapped on it outside will create diamonds like popcorn. We'll need to replay it for more understanding. And Candy thought it was a rod rather than a wire. I do know that tungsten rods are available for welding that's used in TIG welding, which is tungsten and inert gas, usually with argon or some other inert gas. And it can be used for aluminum welding, for example. Also, tungsten is interesting. It's also available as a welding rod with thorium inside. Thorium is a radioactive substance that could be interesting to use, perhaps. But these tungsten rods can be up to 2% thorium. You can order them at 1%, 1.5%, and 2% thorium in these tungsten welding rods. So perhaps that would be an interesting way for people to experiment, perhaps carefully. You can handle those rods with your bare hands. They don't have particular warnings about that. You don't pick up the radioactivity from that, apparently. It's not good to breathe the vapors that much, but even there, the tests showed that there's not much given off by them. Anyway, I didn't mean to divert into all that, but maybe Mr. Keshe, do you have something else you could say about the tungsten? Why did you bring up tungsten today?
Because this is one of the metals which allows the carbon to expand much rapid. Is the property of it. If you nano-coat the tungsten and then you put the heating element, use as a heating element, you will understand the reason. When you use materials like this for creation of the GANs, you nano-coat them, and then you will understand exactly the game is played on the plasmatic level, not on the matter level. That's why your carbon will pop open and becomes a carbon, and becomes a diamond in a carbon state or a carbon in a diamond state. It's all the same. When you nano-coat your tungsten and you put a current through it and you leave it in the water, which is near the electrons of the carbon, you will understand immediately how the gravitational magnetic field of the wire will pull. And in pulling it, gives it so much energy that by the time it's released, it has to open up. It's not the heating. You don't do it by the heating. You do it by a plasmatic condition. You have to nano-coat your wire, and then you understand. I've explained this in other teachings. It's not that you take a tungsten and just heat it up or put a current through it. You have to nano-coat it and understand how you nano-coat it. You can put different kind of gases on it, and you see, and depends on the proximity of how fast you'll be producing the carbon atomic structure loose, that now by adding energy to it, is just because comes from itself internally, will blow up in the way its size. It's like giving the carbon leukemia injection. Okay, what do you call, not leukemia, chemotherapy injection. You give it a massive energy, and with that massive energy, it just expands to its full size. And depending on its grain and the structure, decides how big the stone is going to be. We are not talking about making hot wire on top of the nano what you call carbon. You're talking in a specific way. A lot of you will try and says, "Oh, it didn't work," because you have to understand how to position it, where to position it, and those of you who can do it and you can make the tunnel transformation, you will receive 3, 4, 5, 10 characters like collect popcorns. I wonder if the diamond has any more value. There it goes, another industry finished. You got to understand why we brought this subject up about diamonds and their structure. In some points in the universe, in the deepest space, you need diamond structure from other materials to create a condition that you are safe within. Radiation does not, in so many ways, go across because it gets absorbed by it, depending how fine you have made the structure, and it's one of your safety zones. Next question.
Okay, I'll just remind our viewers that they can put their hand up and they can become a panelist to ask a question, and anybody in the panelists can open their microphone to ask a question now. Would be a good time. They would like to do that. I see there's one viewer with their hand up. I'm not going to promote them, the panelists. Whoops, I think someone might have just done that.
I didn't.
No, I think
No,
they must have left because their name was not appropriate, so I think they left. Okay, so let's carry on. Anybody who would like to ask a question now? There's a question from the chat from Cecilio G, who says, if we connect the mag-grav at 12 volts, we get 12 volts from the mag-grav. If we connect the mag-grav to 125 volts, we get 125. If we connect to 220, we get 220. But if we connect the mag-grav to an electrical power of half tension, say 14,000 volts, or high tension, more than 20,000 volts, can we get 14,000 volts or 20,000 volts? We are a community of farmers and have our own power lines. We have 7 stations to bomb the water, he says. Not quite clear what he means there, for our plants. Okay, so basically that would be the question. Will the mag-grav, since it seems to work at different voltage levels, would it be possible that it could work at those kind of high voltages? What do you think, Mr. Keshe?
Repeat the question and let's see if he can answer it himself.
Okay, right. If we connect the mag-grav at 12 volts, we get 12 volts from the mag-grav. If we connect the mag-grav to 125 volts, we get 125. If we connect to 220 volt, we can get 220. But if we connect the mag-grav to an electrical power of half tension, which is 14,000 volts, or high tension, more than 20,000 volts, can we get 14,000 volts or 20,000 volts? We are a community of farmers and have our own power lines. And we have 7 stations to pump the water.
I change your 7 stations with the weight. Well, let's be on the safe side. with 7 new power generators. That's all I can answer you. Because you want to use it, if you create the demand and step it up, yes, you can. You have to go through this process of stepping up the demand and further. As you saw last week, we showed in the house in Rome, we could put many more units on the wall. We could put many more units on the element, on the maggraph. The maggraph can replace, and would, especially the new generations, will replace most of the power stations. Without a shadow of doubt, there is no need for substations in coming months once we release it. That's why we are holding back until we have complete, and for some political cover-up, we'll deliver within the 90 days, and we'll know exactly how it is. You can do 20 kilowatt, 20 megawatt, it should be no difference. If your wire after the maggraph can hold is a different proposition. And if you connect it in the right way, there should be no problem. We can literally connect one maggraph to any units. We had this discussion with our team very recently. They wanted to sell a large number of maggraph units per kilowatt for every 10 or 20 kilowatt in for photovoltaic farm. And I said to them, it doesn't make any difference. You put 1 or 10. When you put 10, you create more problem for yourself, because now the fields of the plasma has to settle and compare with each other. 1 maggraph unit per farm is more than enough. We have put one maggraph system, one of the most what do you call it, beautiful hotels in Rome last week. And hopefully with 1 unit as part of the village of Vatican should be able to meet the demand. It's very interesting. It's a village within the center, within Italy. Everything you want is within the village where we have put. My concept is 1 unit should be enough. A lot of people explain to me and they say, as I said, we can place a few maggraphs across the Vatican City and create a free energy for them that they don't need to pay. And those of you who know, they tell you very freely that Vatican electricity is supplied by Suez of France free of charge, so they're not interested. If this is a way, but we have managed to place a system, and this system will cover the whole village, something like maybe most probably, God knows how many people. It's a village on its own. And in the next few weeks, we'll check on it. It's a sun. It's you who have to extract energy the way you want for it. But the biggest problem is having the physical means, cables, to be able to transfer such energy. Or you nano-coat and you have no problem. But at some point, the energy becomes matter state energy, and then that's where you have to do the conversion. You can do any amount. It's literally the new type of reactors which are coming and getting tested in different places indicates we can go into megawatts, because we tap into the energy of the universal plasma And so there is no problem. Depends. It can energize the whole of the universe for another little planet and a few machines. We have discovered the way to tap into universal energy. And those of you who understand it, it should be very easy to do the job. Any other question?
One question that's come up a few times lately is how to create water. There's a question in the chat, for example, from Camille, who asks how to create water, or let's call it mother water. Also, as we know, how to transform the E. coli and Salmonella to neutral amino acids. Is there also a way of decontaminating and neutralizing the big poisonous herbicides coming out of the chemical industries, which might at the end be harmful to the human body? All that, I guess, is related to water and decontamination of water and how to create water. So one thing that came to my mind is, do we create water or do we decontaminate existing water? And we do live on a planet that's whatever 3/4 water. You would think we'd have enough water here to use. It's a matter of a lot of it is not potable, as they say, or not usable. What do you think, Mr. Keshe? Should we create water or decontaminate it? Or both?
The last one is better.
For in space, we won't have oceans of water to...
Yeah, but in the space, we create the fields of water.
Mm-hmm.
And in the space, by demand, we produce the water if we need.
Mm-hmm. So I guess what some people are asking is, how do they create water on demand?
Extremely easy and extremely hard, because a lot of you have tried and you have not managed to do it, because now that we come deeper in understanding, maybe you can do it. Maybe. And as I said many times, you will not see water dripping, but you'll see the water rising. Go back on the understanding of the use of the materials in creating matters which they do not exist in reality. And if you understand that, the next step is you can pile up the energy, you don't need to rotate it, and put it in touch with the metal which is used in the construction. Interaction of the plasma from matter state from the plasma state to matter state creates a pulse and electricity. As easy as that. You need to create. Let me explain. I try to do this many times. I play this, I go along with this many, many times. But I wait till somebody do it, and you will understand how to do it. I never teach. I teach, I never do pass my time to do things anymore. I'm too old for exercising. You put the plate, you nano-coated the plate, you put another plate, you created a gas environment of the carbon, and what carbon was passing or was available from the box you used in interaction with the oxygen of the water of your material gave you CO2. So you did not create CO2, you create the gas environment of carbon and you pulled it. Most of the CO2 gas you produce is from the caustic you used in your container. This might shock a lot of you who will be making caustic. You see some containers produce much more, some containers less, and your CH bond of the container releases a certain amount of carbon, which with the field you have created here, with the presence of the oxygen, gives you CO2. Extend the knowledge. Copper, zinc, O2 or O on its own, the same here. Copper 6 creates the gravitational magnetic field. I have explained this very clearly before. You are looking for 18. It will rain water from the sky. It's the choice of the material and the choice of the environment. You have to look for the field strength. You can create gold the same way if you can find a balance. And so producing water in a plasma condition should be no problem. But understand, in the teaching of today, those of you who do the private teaching, you understood, create the field difference of 18 in the attraction of your plasmas, your reactor will be raining water. Because now you create the magnet of gravitational magnetic field of the water. That's how easy it is. I told you many years ago, 2 years ago, that this is whip, I can produce this system that it rains water from it. And you tried everything, every combination. As you know, I never interfere. I leave till you learn. I taught you the CO2, the copper oxide, the CH3 and zinc oxide, because that's a combination of the life of the man. Because through that, by seeing the change in your health, you could believe or accept the technology. This is the stupidity of this whole thing, is that we enter through the health than actually the understanding of the total science by scientific. So if you understand this, if you have dynamic systems, and you can create gravitational magnetic fields of the water in the center, as you were taught this morning, there were some 80, 90 people on the teaching this morning. There is hundreds of you in the background as state students. Some of you still have this. So it's very easy. Create that in the center using a combination of gases, because now it's a free, because what you create in the center of your reactor is the field which will attract that field strength. Iron attracts iron, copper attracts copper. From now on, if you understood the teaching of this morning on the private teaching, you will see how you can produce. It should have been very easy for you to understand. Now it's not just matter of the flying, which you've been taught today. It's a matter of you have created, in a way, the same condition as the stars do. The central star creates a gravitational magnetic field that it decides what elements are going to be in the shell of the solar system, and then the same way the gravitational magnetic field in the center of the planet, it decides what kind of strength field it will take that it makes its own structure. If it attracts helium, it creates gravitational magnetic field of the helium, it will attract helium. That's how Saturn works. Here, the beauty of it is, if you haven't understood, maybe you understand why you couldn't do it, because now your system has both gravitational and magnetical of helium. This is what this world of science has never understood. This is the beauty of the development of the technology this way. The NASA scientists who were on board this morning in the private teaching, or watch the rest of it in your offices, the Chinese Space Agency people who were on the private teaching this morning, you know exactly what you got to do, because this is missing as part of your work and development. That you do not need to transport food, you do not need transport elements with you anymore, because as you were in the teaching this morning, you understand now, not only you create the gravitational magnetic field of the entity as you like, by changing the field strength, you change the matter immediately from water to helium, from water to carbon. We have gone with the new teaching of today, we have gone from creating what I call two-dimensional plasma condition, which you see here. We have gone into a three-dimensional. Now here, you were confined to the box. Here, you're confined to the universe. Because now you create a three-dimensional ball which expands the universe. You decide if you want to create an ocean. Professor Xu of Chinese USBA University, you were looking for water for the oasis system. I think your students have learned a lot this morning and today. If I understood and you wanted to carry on, you need this as part of your oasis system to create water. You want to create energy of bread. You don't make the bread, you create the energy that is there. Our friends in NASA Space Agency present, this has been one of the biggest problems for your payloads and sustaining people in the space at the moment, that you have to fly food to them all the time. Make one of these systems and ship it up. The fields in upper atmosphere are good enough to keep them going. Once you manage to pass the boundary of this solar system, our friends in different space agencies are working and testing to confirm they were not happy with the two-dimensional box. The new technology which was taught this morning gives you a three-dimensional system. Armin, do you understand what you're making? Is he still awake? He's gone to sleep.
No, I don't see him on here.
Yeah, he's gone to sleep. He was with us this morning, so it's been too late for him.
Armen is on the list of participants. I see him.
Pardon?
I see Armen on list of participants.
Can you bring him up? Or he's asleep, he just left the computer on.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah, no problem. So what you see with a new system, you're actually creating this. There's no difference. You're creating a ball, which within this ball, Earth created gravitational magnetic field that it created or it absorbed oxygen magnetic fields and carbon magnetic fields and hydrogen magnetic fields and nitrogen magnetic fields to itself. And for that reason, it positions itself in respect to the sun that it can hold on and create what it can hold on to. And so, for that reason, it created the water. So, you can do the same. You create in your reactors a gravitational magnetic field of the water which you want. And when you collect fields across the universe, which is so much of them, of the strength of the water, you have as much water as you like. If you are in an earthquake condition, this is the biggest problem. Chinese are investing huge amount of money. We are talking millions in development of oases that with a upcoming disaster, they can meet the demand for it. Our friends, this is your answer. We showed it how it's done, and all you need to do. At the same time, you can produce a multi-core reactor that while you're holding on to your shelter, you are bringing fields across your shelter in so many ways that, if I can go that way, you create a reactor, 2 cores, no more, that in part of your reactor, you create gravitational magnetic field of the water, and in another part of strength of the field, you create the shelter. Total size of the reactor, 2 centimeters. Dimension of the tent, 100 meter if you need. Rate of the flow of the water, 1,000, 2,000 liters per minute. Because now you decide what to absorb. I said to our colleagues in China, hold on till you understand the new development. Now, our friends understand. I hope they understand. Total cost, maybe $10. Because if you understand it, you know how to treat it, you create from the interaction both gravitational magnetic field of the shielding and the food. This is what you got to do in space all the time. Now that we see you can create free plasmatic magnetic field, it's you who decide how they interact to get what energy from them or absorb the magnetic field of 2. We are moving into the space technology. We are moving into this deep space program. And in deep space, excuse me, you cannot come back to Earth for a bucket of water because understanding it, even your system fails, you can set another up within minutes, within hours, that you can start attracting fields from the environment, but use your shielding as a filter that you don't receive anything else but exactly what you need, the field strength. I'm building a city. I want to have as much aluminum as I like. This is going back into the essence of the creation. If you listened, if our colleagues in the Chinese universities and other parts which are working in the background with us that watching today, Please understand the development of the Oasis system is so simple that you do not need to spend billions and billions. All you need is the field of the matters which you want to create. And once you create the fields, you can put them in a way that they become matter status you need. There is a big question mark in going to the next step. We get hungry, we eat. We get thirsty, we drink. But in fact, the water we drink does not go through our intestines into our lymph. It transfers the energy of the water that inside allows the space gap and gravitational magnetic field that is needed for liquidity of the gases of the body of the man. The question is, do you actually need to create water? Or as in gravitational magnetic field plasmatic condition, whoever is here as is created to come will absorb what they need. This is more efficient than creating the water. Unless you want to jump in the swimming pool, then that's a different matter. Because in a space you don't carry water to wash anymore. You create gravitational magnetic mixture that in respect to the material which is on the body or on the field or on your clothes is cleaned up. This is the gift which we are bringing with us to China for the Chinese people, to cleaning up the mess in Beijing and Shanghai and other places. We are not coming there to suck air. We are coming there to drop a few very small units across Beijing. And the next day, you have piles of all the mess. There is no difference. This is what we've seen. On Thursday, Ghana Nuclear Spaceship Program Keshe Foundation will show. Very simple. You've seen it. Contained contaminated water, sediments, and now the sediment has been tested. It's the beauty of what they're going to show you. Mercury, world standard limitation, using the technology, clean water, mercury flooded, you can drink it. This was the sediment. You still see it as a GANS we saw at the bottom, where before was floating. This is city of Beijing, and that's the cloud. Will rain down onto your system the whole pollution. There is no difference. Just because it happened in liquid, if you understood the principle, you can do the same in the atmosphere. I've given you a lot of hints. A Chinese friend, people in Washington, in New York, in the big cities, Tokyo, gas water, let it rain. And then through its interaction, it'll attract and bring down all the materials which are the composite of the pollution in the air. But that is ancient. The new technology, what we have put on the table, and I've been referring this for a long time, now you understand, is placing the small reactors, no airflow, interaction of the total plasmatic of the elements in the air. You analyze the air, you know what fields you have to create. Don't forget, Iranian nanotechnologists a couple of years ago released a paper in nano-materials accepting, absorbing pollution in the air. as I said to them, that's what you need to do. There is no need changing fuel. There is no need telling people not to get on the street. You cannot stop the commerce. But all you need to do, very much, you've seen the cement trucks which go around carrying cements for building, construction building business. You place one of these reactors inside it, and then you run the reactor for absorbing as much mercury or whatever is a composite of the air. When they get filled up, you go home, you empty it, and you come back out again. You extract gold from the air, you extract carbon from there. As I said, the technology is complete. We hold on till we achieve peace and negotiation with the governments. But in a way, with what we have thought, as I told you, is now we show you application of the technology. Very simple. You have contaminated waters coming from nuclear reactors, contaminated water from chemical damages or explosions. All you need to do, you park your car. You park a tanker with a field inside. When it's filled up, you stop the gravitational magnetic field of the element you created. The tank is full. No air blowing, no energy consumption. That's finished. That kind of process is over. Now we are moving in a direction because those of you who were in the teaching of this morning, Arman, in a very simple way, tried to explain to you, and I elaborated on it, how it works and the way it is. The industrial cleaning is not by digging anymore. You move the truck with the same thing over the land, which has a radioactive contamination. It absorbs to itself the matter which releases it, because you already know how you contaminated it. Washing and draining is ancient, is over. As I said, go back to the beginning of the teachings from 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I said, always, you make the magnet of the magnetic field of the material you have. But you have to remember, a magnetic field for the element has to have both gravitational and magnetical fields, and in the new technology we've been teaching, you already possess it. As I said, tomorrow or on Thursday, we see Ghana will show. Do we need to damage the fish when we're trying to clean up the mess? Or do we need to damage the environment of a city while we are cleaning it up? Not necessarily. You cannot use airborne ships because you collect so much that they crush. So it's much easier to put it on the ground, absorb it. And the other thing is the economical benefit by it, because what you absorb is pure. It's absolutely pure. So you return back the minerals of the earth back to earth as minerals. And then you want to use it, what you collected as a mercury, what you collected as whatever is within that structure. This is not a fairy tale anymore, because the scientists have issued the papers. You've been with us for a few weeks, and I kept on telling you, we need the sediment counts from the Ghana for what they have absorbed. Now we have started the process of HIV and malaria. That's how it's going to work. You've been two-dimensional. Now, another step to development, you become three-dimensional. In a way, you work spherical, not the box anymore, because you decide how far you want to extend the gravitational magnetic field of the, let's say, carbon from your point of absorption. You decide the field strength of the magnetical field. So you extend your tent, you reduce the tent. Professor Shu, please, working with your team, understand this before you go any further investing in another direction. As I said in my communication with you, please understand before anything is done. Whatever you've done up to now is correct, but you have to add this into your knowledge that you don't waste the finances of the nation. As I said, if you understand this, it's very easy to clean up. The only mistake TEPCO made with us, they jumped off the gun. They thought they've done very well with what they did, stealing, but unfortunately, they stole the crumbs. It shows the real hand, how they behave. On Thursday, we release the picture of the place where all the Keshe Foundation materials were tested in Fukushima. Now that the TEPCO has admitted lying in respect to the meltdown of the reactor number, whatever they had, for 2 months, from March to May, that it never melted, and then they changed it. They have lied about the Keshe Foundation work too. So we're dealing with a bunch of liars, but that's their problem. We've seen the others on the other side doing the same. But that technology given to TEPCO is obsolete. Very much. If you're involved, or people who were involved in the situation like what we saw in Eastern Bloc in 1980s with Chernobyl, nowadays we don't need that. All we need to do is to drop a system which is less than, more or less, a golf ball, even maybe bigger if you want to do it. All you need to do, you create gravitational magnetic field of the plutonium, uranium, or whatever which is contamination. Everything piles back in. You create a shielding within the same system on the field strength. You cover it up. You cascaded it. Everything is back home, sitting in its base. Total cost, a few dollars. So many of our nuclear physics colleagues that in that condition lost their lives trying to cover it, protect it, and now it's left totally abandoned because it's so badly contaminated. Even today is not late to decontaminate Chernobyl within more or less weeks. All you need to do, you airdrop all these systems, you analyze the ground, you analyze the air, and you get everything back to piles, and then it's your decision what you want to do with the pile. This is the beauty of this technology. It'll change everything the man has worked for. But I tell you on Thursday, we show you how they've been trying to cover this technology. You'll be amazed. The Keshe Foundation will release so much information on Thursday that be careful you come with a very big heart, because what is to be disclosed need a man of steel to know how these people stop delivery of these kind of processes. And all of it in past 20 years has been done by one man. You'll be amazed. He has killed, he has murdered children, adults, scientists, and then he have written patent on what is stolen by killing scientists. It's in public domain. We'll talk about it on Thursday. We show and we release the name of the people, the scientists, and it's for you to go on the internet and check how many scientists Red Circle has murdered. The warrant for his arrest is in the process of being issued internationally. The white hair is not a Father Christmas. It's the hair of a murderer. So now you will see, please come, but come with a very big heart on Thursday. We release the name of scientists and the patents he has placed when he's killed them and has stolen his patent, their patent, to patent in his name. Because now is a name with a name. This time, it cannot be done. We do not make it. We told you once the Alan Sterling situation is over, we open our research. This time, they cannot kill anymore because the knowledge is yours. It belongs to you and you possess it. You have to understand how you have delivered the technology collectively as a race. This was a very hard plan, but easy to execute. We brought you all, thousands of you. There is millions of Keshe Foundation supporters. You all can do it. There is no reason, no man cannot do the job. We've seen a man who loves his wife. He went through it himself, did the job, the wife, without any lung cancer. We salute you. We thank you for what you've done for your wife and your love. And that's more than anybody else needs to know. We thank the doctors who are working this way and are releasing it. We see the scientists who are going with the decontamination because the knowledge is so easy. The knowledge is in your hand, but once you understand this, how simply it can be done, you find out you're all Einsteins. Einstein only understood mathematics, but he played with it to show he's very clever. But you're all clever. You are extremely clever. You can do it yourself. Some people on the background, they know. In the past few days, one of the richest men in Europe is ill with a cancer. I said to him, if you want, I teach you, do it at home yourself. You don't need no doctors. They've removed tumors. They've done all sorts of things. I said to him, if you want, you can talk to doctors who know, I'll work with them. But if you don't want, I teach you, you do it at home. Because all the wealth he has cannot save his life. But the knowledge he has will save his life. And as usual, from the foundation, it's been offered totally free. It's for him, if he decides in the future, to disclose it. This is the problem. The simplicity of it, that you can do it yourself, be it on a personal level, be it on a national level. The defense technology of this is horrendous for those who've been killing in the name of everything they wanted. You've seen how we explain. You create a shelter there on the right. Now you can do the same thing. Without your enemy knowing, drop them a few buckets, a few bowls, the color of camouflage, totally camouflaged as the land. No aircraft can fly. If you have created the gravitational magnetic field of the plastic in the microchip. Carbon is the cheapest way to imitate. You already created the CO2 bucket. Now, in your reactors, you create the gravitational magnetic field of these little things in the microchip. If you understand it, it takes very easy. The only thing is, all the rocket launchers, all the electronic systems is piled up on the ground. A piece of plastic, carbon. More effective, if you are very greedy, you make a gravitational magnetic field, which is a little bit harder, of gold, All these computers have a gold component in it. It looks perfect from outside, but it doesn't work inside. Do the same, rain peace on battleships. Very easy. You find battleships, just throw them the size of a golf ball. I give a few weeks early warning to militaries, but some of you very soon will develop it. But don't hide it, because hiding it is not the purpose of this technology. By bringing it out, we delivered the peace, what we came here for. The teaching this morning was complete. And those of you who understood it know exactly how you got to do it. Don't forget the atomic mass of the hydrogen and the gameplay between acidic and alkaline. You want what weight you want? You want weight of gold, or you want the weight of copper? We have taught these in depth. You create the atomic mass of enough hydrogen to add up to the atomic mass of the gold, which is in the microchip of the battleships. Good morning to 10 million, 20 million, 100 million aircrafts and ships. We showed the frequency blockage. Now we show the total annihilation of the military forces. If I was you, as the world leaders, take the ships back as fast as you can. If they are made of metal, they'll be shipping and floating like metals. You want, you understand, you can change, and I allow the teaching to go in the way that when I release the technology, too many people have it because you were looking on the other side, but the technology development was going on the other side. There were too many people busy with little crumbs, while in a way they were developing the knowledge of a space, how to have the cake. Now you have to understand one simple thing. You have the knowledge, you have the strength, you have the capability. If you understood, especially the teaching of this morning, and especially what was taught and understood in the past 2 or 3 weeks by different ways by the Innovation Center, the key to walk around military bases around the world and just throw a golf ball. Inside it, a small reactor. You will not see the golf ball by the time you come back, because if you've done your job right, it has collected and it's become the color you love to give it back. And take the gold to the Air Force or military, says, I brought you gold. I'm very generous. I would like to give you some gold. Without them knowing, you have emptied the microchip from their aircrafts, from their guns, and everything else which is sitting there. It's very easy. The only thing left for man to fight is to go back to the source and the martial art. We are back into the Stone Age. The only people who will enjoy this is the people who will disclose to you how to do it on Thursday, when they do it to a child, for the fun of it, that they are sick in the head. As I told you, we keep very quiet for the knowledge. Now we release the knowledge in such a way that you all know what to do. Go back on the teaching of this morning. Is the best €100 our students spent to learn? And they were there this morning. How to make atomic structure, magnetic gravitational field of any elements in the universe. Now you understand what was going on this morning. Good morning. You were happy with the taste of orange from a cup. But in a way, you forgot about one thing. Now, this cup where you had in your tent with the orange on it, you played with the fields where you can create the field of orange inside here. You don't need to have orange. The orange is available 24 hours a day. Depends if you want to taste it or your body needs it. And it costs you a few dollars. The understanding of the technology is so simple. The understanding of the technology is so absolutely simple. It's just now you have to open your eyes to it and see the possibilities. If the Keshe Foundation supporters and others sincerely decide to literally clean up all the mess, we have a very big job on our hand. A few weeks, and after that, we are all retired. The only thing left for you to do, to maybe to go to beg for a job, opposite what is done today. You go to beg for a job to feed yourself. In a coming time, people will beg for a job because of the boredom of having nothing to do, because they have everything they want. Their life has changed. The process is totally on the verge of a change, which means you don't need to work anymore. You work because you want to serve. You work because you enjoy doing something. You don't work, and you cannot be taken for slavery by those who abuse the soul of the man. This is the beauty of what is coming up. This is what you have to understand. We don't teach you about the application of the technology. We don't only teach you about how to do it. We show you all the way how it's done. You do it yourself. We've seen doctors building units themselves for their patients. We've seen physicists building the things for their work. We've seen scientists in universities now developing to see what happens if they do it this way or do it the other way. And you are providing the scientific data. Nobody can patent anything anymore because it's all been taught in the open channels. My deepest commiseration goes to those who lost their lives by the stupidity of the others who made the guns on the battlefield. We said to you, we'll enter the American elections by June, July. We are very much ready to take it up. Only on the president who promotes peace and prosperity for the United States and the rest of humanity. We have found a match. It's for your job to find a match. There is a problem, we have a huge problem, is how to teach this knowledge so rapid. Our biggest problem is teaching now, not the technology anymore. On Thursday, the foundation will announce a new teaching program, very radical. We brought some of the best in teaching and in organizing to be as part of the Keshe Foundation. They will organize it, they deliver it, they've done it, they've shown their work, and on Thursday we'll show you how. You can do everything yourself. There is no reason for no one to tell you you can't. If you can boil water, if you can walk to the shop, if you can find a piece of wire in somewhere, electric cable wire you don't need, and you have an old battery hanging around the house, you can make everything you need to live on this planet without ever being a slave to no one. We are proud to teach you, but I hope humanity will not abuse it. That's all it takes. No more. You produce the gas of CO2 with it, you produce the copper oxide with it, you produce the CH3 with it, you produce the zinc oxide with it, and with it on the top you produce the protein, you add the protein gas into your core. Now you understand how you create the level of understanding for your body. Then you will understand the environment of the cascade and the capsule we created is for the human race because it carries your amino acid in it. Change it, you wish it, you want it, you create it, be it the orange, be it the banana, be it the steak and chips. Food will not be element of the luxury anymore because we take what we need. If you want to eat physically, then that's an extra luck of you having the burden of digesting it. Food poisoning will not be possible in the space technology. It is very important for you to understand. Very, very important. And once you understand it, the technology, the simplicity of it, not only you can do, but you will do, and you teach it with the others and to the others. Listen on Thursday morning, you understand we're taking the teaching on such a scale up that you'll be shocked that you don't even want to go to work because the work will come to you, how to deliver, how to serve, how to work it, and then we'll go step by step. Walk, make the gas of zinc oxide in your reactors and throw it in the waters of the ocean. Put it in the springs of Africa that no lion shall eat, no deer, and no fish will be eaten by the others. Any other question?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Anybody in the panelists who has a question at this point?
Yes, I'm allowed to ask you a question.
No, you're not. You're the only one who can't ask the question. You ask too many questions.
No. It's to help somebody out. They want to know in different languages what is a tungsten rod.
What?
A tungsten rod. The one you just mentioned earlier in the teachings. They don't find the right word for it or the right translation.
Tungsten. Oh, it's very easy. Go and find yourself an old light bulb. The element which is hanging in there lights up is a tungsten. Now, if you're a new generation, you've never seen the light bulbs, the old ones, 5 years ago, 10 years ago was common. Now it's illegal to sell because they sell you the mercury on the top. I tell you something, while we are at this, thank you very much for Caroline to bring it. The voice you hear is my wife. She keeps on asking questions 24 hours a day. We got to the point, says, can we have a rest? One of the biggest problems with the present, some of these lights is the mercury and the other things which they carry, which if you put your foot on it, creates huge kind of problems. If you be quick enough and be able to produce the right reactors, you do not need these lights. And second, if they break, you can collect the mercury very easily from everywhere. Listen to the Thursday teaching, you understand exactly how. You will hear we have a gift from the African nations. On Thursday, we'll have 2 or 3 African nations presenting different part of the teaching. Very interesting. We'll explain to you when it comes. But please join us and broadcast the teaching of Thursday morning, that a lot of people understand what we are talking about, how we came to this point, and how a lot of scientists will understand. One man has been behind the killing of a number of scientists who come up with the latest technologies in the past 20, 30 years. And we show you how this man has been responsible for, with his own hand, not by somebody else, murdering children. It's all on the internet. We don't make any accusations. Now we have brought it in together the way we got Alan Sterling. Now we have his boss. We explain how we set for Mr. Sterling to walk into his own trap. And we set the trap for him last week, and he fell in it. And we have a free hand to take it. We will explain this to you. Listen on Thursday, but come with a very, very big iron heart. Because London Tower, Antwerp, will be burned down to the ground for what is to be released. Because otherwise, you will understand. We leave it as that. We have evidence of first-hand murder of scientists. We have evidence of massacring children. This is what's on the net. And nothing, we don't make any accusation, and we show how they're still operating as a family business to do this, to bring in children, to murder, and everything else. We set a trap, like we set a trap for Mr. Sterling, and they play the game. Now the game is free for us to play. When you murder a scientist, you take his patents, and then you sign it under your name. And now the scientist has died in 2000. The same way, poisonous me. The same way. Now be ready, because it's worth to be released, and it's all the names on the internet. We just give you the link, you check. Please, if you have problem finding tungsten, it's very, very easy. Go and find old light bulbs. If you find very old light bulbs, especially if they're broken, the little spring on them is a tungsten wire. And when you hit the tungsten, a very low current, that in a specific way, no wonder they ask Caroline. They all want to make diamonds. There must be a bunch of women asking Caroline, can you tell us how to make diamonds? You get the wire, you excuse me, can you switch off your, I was correct, there are women asking her, how do we make diamonds? Can you switch off your microphone, please? You got to understand, it took a long time. How many elements did Edison tested hundreds, thousands to find.
Yeah, over 1,000 different light bulbs. I believe it was around 1,000 different types of elements to try to get one that worked properly.
Yeah. But now you can use it in a specific way. You have to remember something. You have to nano-coat it. If you go and look at the different color of stones, that's diamonds or anything else, by their color and the environment they are, tells you what metal you need to use to create them. Any gem you want to create, you find the nearest metal which was in the environment of it when it was created. Which means they can both live and exist in the same environment. You nano-coat it. When you nano-coat it, you create a shield. It's like a jacket. By the way, 5:30 is important to be here. The nano-coating will seal the metal inside. Now you have the matter state, and then when you put a current to it, you create a field release which is matching near enough to the stone, to the gem you want to make. You understand? This is how you play the plasma game. Plasma game is so beautiful. If you understand it, it will be a game to play. Look at where diamond comes from. Diamond comes from eruption of volcanic environment, high pressure or high temperature, cooked, baked carbon coming into open, opens up. Look at how the structure is in other stones. Understand, it's the environment which creates it. And now you have the knowledge to see how, what element is in it, what is sapphire made of, what any other stone is made of. And if you understood this, we've seen this. I have to explain to you this. I explained this in the last teaching, last Thursday, I think, but we go over it again. The doctors will tell you, I asked the question, we'll see it, and now that you know it, the doctors can prove it. In a skull, they put the element, the calcium being the seed of the cancer, brain cancer, they find the flakes of the calcium outside. If you understand now this process, you put the system outside a gold stone, outside the stone in your kidney. All you need to do on the skin, you collect the stone. No need for operation. No need for interaction. Don't look in making beautiful things. Look how you can make the life of the others with the new knowledge easier. It is very easy. It's the world of science now for a world of medicine in plasma technology is a gift for any true doctor who's there to help and to save a life. It's the first time ever they can stand for the oath they took in totality. We don't need to create huge, expensive machinery. A few dollars will do. Any other question? I told you, we just add to the knowledge. When you ask a question, it's not teaching you any more system. It's adding for you to see how you expand it, how you can apply it. And very easy. If you understand how to create the new system, you all rely on one sun. We are going back to the origin of creation from the beginning of the universe. The central plasma, which has everything in it, is you who have to decide what you want to take out of it.
Mr. Keshe, I note that, as Stanley notes in the chat, that tungsten is also known as wolfram. As a chemical element W, wolfram. The word tungsten comes from the Swedish language tungsten, which directly translates to heavy stone. And it turns out that it has a very high density. It's comparable to uranium and gold. It's much higher than that of lead. It's about 1.7 times heavier than lead. Also, it is the highest melting point of all the elements, hence why it would be good for the filament for a light bulb, for example.
Now, do you want me to fill you up with the rest of it regarding the diamond?
All right.
Oh, what's his name? Giovanni says yes, yes, yes. Yes, Mr. Giovanni, this is for you, but it's not my problem if your wife divorces you, but that's your problem. She was gonna ask for the biggest one, and you gotta work on it. Let me tell you exactly why we chose tungsten. I have to bring you to our gold business, diamond business. Where are we?
It's interesting, Mr. Keshe, that it mentions that tungsten is the heaviest element known to be essential to any living organism.
Ah, okay. Now look why. You're dealing with plasma? You're dealing with plasma?
Can I just say something else? It says tungsten is the only metal from the third transition series that is known to occur in biomolecules, where it is used in a few species of bacteria and archaea. So yes, the heaviest element essential to any living organism. That's amazing.
Yes. Now can I go? You started a fire. You better feed the fire. For those ladies listeners who asked the question, why we chose tungsten? He said it's the highest, and to get a full conversion, you have to give enough energy that it can release itself in rapid way into the carbon, that the carbon is allowed to grow to its maximum. That's why we choose tungsten. You don't transfer heat, you transfer plasmatic energy into the element which is just being released as a nanocarbon. As it comes off, you give it. Have you made a popcorn? That's what the carbon is. What diamond is a popcorn carbon. The more energy you give it, the bigger the stone becomes. That's why you can find 10 pointers, 20 pointers, 50 pointers very easy, because these are just about the heat to get it going. They blow a little bit. But the ones which come right from the center and they receive the maximum heat, when they come up to 3 or 4 character. So that's what I said. Go back into the teaching. What size carbon diamond would you like? They'll all be big characters, because it releases huge amount of, it makes available huge amount of carbon energy, which is acceptable by carbon. You can make diamond of gold. I have done. If you go back on the pictures of the Keshe Foundation, years ago when we used to be Keshe Technologies, I still have it somewhere, that I have nano-coated, made diamond structure of gold. You can do it because if you put enough energy into it, it'll grow. It took me a few minutes because I knew where to put it in my reactor. This is what I did in Tehran. I said to the people, I make gold from fresh air for you. It's still here. It's somewhere in this building. The material is still here. After 8 years, it's still here. It wasn't a thing. Because you create a condition that allows gravitational magnetic field of the gold to the nearest element. You always go to the nearest element field, and then you allow what you want to be created. This is what we done. We created nano-atomic gold. You saw being shown by Mr. Khan from Japan, from Fukushima, is used now by the company which is using to decontaminate. That's what we done. We went to the nearest that it had a financial interest for them to do it, and they've done it. There is a discussion now in TEPCO, what are we going to do with Keshe Foundation now that everything is out and it's getting done. Now we are delivering the waters into Fukushima for people to drink to get rid of the contamination. In the next few days, in the next couple of weeks, it'll be done. The material is made, it's already in Japan. It's produced. We will distribute it freely across Tokyo for the people to drink it, to decontaminate. And what will be interesting, if they digested some radioactive material, and if they digested some mercury, they will be having some gold deposits they have to pick up. Very, very simple. Because it releases such a high amount of energy, especially when you use tungsten to the weak carbon, that it energizes it. You should not create any diamond less than 3 to 10 characters. 3 characters should be the smallest. But at the same time, please do not block the box, because if you block it, you can't make any more diamond. And the problem is, a single diamond this big, you can't break it and you can't put it on your finger. Just be careful. Have you ever seen a 20-carat diamond? You need the lorry to carry this. It's heavy. Because you have to put the gold, and you can't just glue it on your skin. Huh? You got to make a structure for it to hold it. Yeah. And you need a very tall finger too. Any question?
I have a question, Mr. Keshe. I'm Mario from Germany. What would the exact...
You were in the teaching of this morning.
Yes.
Yeah. Now you know what to do.
How would the exact setup or the connection look like besides the tungsten and the carbon?
Very easy. Very easy. Extremely easy. Tungsten is one element, carbon is the other one. Find out what current you need to produce a very slow nano layers, then it's done.
Just connecting those two together?
Find a way, yes.
Thank you.
Don't forget what our friends told us last week, our Russian friends, how the material, the gentleman from Lithuania, am I correct? Who made the presentation of the cooking in the kitchen? Do you remember? Estonia? They showed you a very simple process. And
he's from Latvia.
Latvia. He explained to you very fine what to do. Listen to that recording. 20 times, maybe you grasp the idea how it works. And for them, it's very easy to make it if you understand what kind of carbon to use to create a resistance. The specific way, this needs a specific solution and a specific, what do you call it, positioning of the tungsten. It has to be far enough that it allows the nanoatomic structure to come out. You have to make sure that your system is nano-coated. It's in a way, it's your copper. It allows the high temperature to exist. I tell you something, go back into the teaching if you were with us many times in the past few years. I've explained this before. In 2007, 2006, 7, we did a test with the professors in, 2008, 9. We did a test with the professors in Ghent University in electrical engineering department. We put a piece of nanomaterial into the clip, and the professor in the lab went and brought, I remember, tables of things. He said, if this thing can stand more than 1 amp, it's very good. If it does 1.5, 2 amp, is marvelous. And he just brought his whatever electronic system he had, electrical system, and he put this piece of wire, very little, about the size of this pen, under tension. We could see the metal melting inside. We could see through the holes of nanomaterial the molten metal. But it will not break, it will not fail, because nanomaterial were transferring. You actually can't touch this metal. You can touch this wire because it's cool. It's nanomaterial, doesn't absorb anything. But I could see the molten metal inside. When you heat this in such a molten level, then you understand that the part of the structure reaches plasma condition. And now when it reaches the plasma condition, it's free in transmission. If you put the right position, hello, come back. If you put your carbon in the right position and in the right order, as is released through the gravitational magnetic field of what is created here, you know to do a slight touch. As it comes off, it absorbs, pops up, absorbs the energy, you have your diamond. Diamond is not created in the volcanic eruption coming up. It comes up, it's created the minute it touches the atmosphere, with what energy the carbon has absorbed. When I used to be in diamond business, I could tell more or less which diamond is from which river, where, which country, which part of the country, because you understand the energy release at the time of volcanic eruption. I could tell you if it's from land or is it from the river. Understanding the structure of the planet, understanding the flow of the plasma, I could tell you very much what to expect from it and how much it'll worth when I finish cutting it in the burs. I looked at it as a game. This is why I had to understand that in the future, what I was planning to do, be able to develop it. Because you understand, the volcanic eruption in that point was very strong, very heavy at the time. When it was very strong and very heavy, it threw it up, and how far it was thrown, how fast it was cooled down. It was at the beginning of the eruption or the end of the eruption. By the size of a diamond, you can tell the life of a diamond. You can tell how far and how it was done. If it's absorbed enough energy, if it came and it was a small eruption but very powerful, where in the river it comes down, or how far it fell out. and it came down. This is science. If you understand the structure of the creation, it's the same with any element. I studied the geology of most of the diamond centers producing areas in Africa. In Russia and other places, I have no clue, very, very little. But I studied because for me was the next generation. I could see what carbon can do in the space technology, what I need to know, because it's part of the element of the map. Any other question? Or shall we call it a day? We have caused enough problem.
I have one question. I have one more question. Just give me a second. You know that, oh God, I can't go.
Thank you very much for today.
There was one person that had a question that's asked several times, how can we produce GANs for non-metals, or how can GANs on non-metals be made?
What do you mean by non-metals?
Emilio Sinelli, you would have to clarify on that. Maybe it could be a question for the workshop.
We have seen how our friends last week shown they made the GANs. We have seen how our friends in Africa showed us how they make their GANs. We have seen the production of the GANs by our knowledge seeker Paul, how he does it. He has shown us even by the school of thought. And we have seen how other knowledge seekers over the time have shown making it from putting it, adding it to a CO2. Some doctors do that. And some people who make herbs, we saw in Rome when we went to see the what do you call it, the fridge unit. Yeah. She showed us how she makes her gases from herbs and plants. But in a way, you add the energy of the material to another one. It keeps that.
Emilio clarifies that he means for calcium, sulfur, or noble gases.
The same.
Okay.
The same. If you have a problem to make a gas of a material, dunk it on the back of something else. A lot of people are using CO2 as a donkey to carry the GANs of herbs. A lot of tapping going on.
Oops, sorry, that's me.
Oh, I know.
Answering the question.
You're a very good secretary.
We have a question in the chat from Salsa, who says, I'm surprised if Mr. Keshe could make gold and diamond, why is he in the Maghreb business? I was going to
save the humanity.
I was going to suggest you quit the diamond business many years ago, actually. So you've already been there, done that. It's not like you couldn't.
No, the thing is,
it's not about the money.
This is not the first question you're asking. My children and my wife have asked him many times. Why did you? Because I used to be in the big size diamonds. You're talking about 5, 10 carats above. You sell 2 stones a month, you're a millionaire. So the problem is when the knowledge, the work I did was just wasting time till I find the answer to gravity. I searched for understanding how gravity is made from early 60s, mid 60s. And when I discovered how gravity is made, number of different systems I built to confirm to do, and it was more and more complicated. It took nearly 20 years. I started in early 60s, mid 60s, or around when I was 8, 9 years old. It was something I wanted to do because I could not understand why the Americans go this way to the moon. It was a hard way. And when I graduated, I stayed out of university, but I carried on with the business. I became an extremely successful businessman. But it's like a mistress. You have a life where your business is your mistress, your knowledge is your main course. And that's how, when I discovered it, I remember the day. It was very hard, but it was very clear how everything was missed. And from that moment on, I did not even go to my offices. I had offices around the world. People, my children say, at least you could have managed. I said, no, because creating money the way I used to do is very, very, very strong. When you make telephone numbers on every deal, you don't understand. You've got to be in my position at that time. We used to make money not in dollars. If it wasn't $1 million or $2 million, it was not worth touching. And it would have taken us a few minutes. We ate with the world leaders. We did trading and work with the most powerful men in the world. But it was not good enough, because the main interest in developing this, understanding the gravity, was very, very important. And if I would have stayed in business, I would have never done what I've done today. But unfortunately, we fell in the hand of a murderer. Unfortunately, we didn't know how they lured us. Now, I've had a year since last year from Ireland studying. We have seen how we were lured into Belgium in the hand of one of the biggest murderers man ever known. He has, with his own hand, killed children, poisoned scientists, me one of them. I told you for a long time, we thought when I came back from Iran, I was, because of the contamination of radiation, but it wasn't. It was a time when we were writing the book, the first book, when I was poisoned. I sat next to my murderer, the same as we did in this Insano, the same scenario, the same people, from the same point of birth in Kinshasa. We have enough evidence, and the authorities and the legal frame has accepted the case. I'm not the only one. Another scientist, and the only thing is they have gone behind everybody's back and they patent our work. But it was worth it. And what we went through, it was worth it. Now, when I have Dr. Rodriguez tell me a dog had 2 tumors and now he has none in less than a month, it was worth saving the life of a dog, let alone another human being. We know how to make gold that you cannot even dream. And actually, gold is very cheap. I know how to make the most rarest materials that the world governments pay billions for.
And probably a few that they haven't even discovered yet.
Oh, you don't know what I know from this space. You're most probably right.
Mr. Keshe, we'll just wrap it up here with Cecilio says, the last question for me is, how is it possible that Mr. Keshe's heart contains so much love and not explode? It sure is nano covered. Thanks for all.
Thank you very much indeed. But now we're getting to the pinnacle point. We are ready to go into a space. Is the man as a totality who's got to accept the peace condition. And when you start seeing it and enjoying it in the coming time, then man will change very quick, very, very quick. I have predicted, most of my prediction has been correct. We will see the abdication of the Queen of England in the coming time. After what happened, I explained it before, we see the election of the United Kingdom to go the way it's gone. The next step for it is the abdication of the Queen, because it's part of the agreement. And then we will see anarchy in Europe. And then we'll see peace. And all this will happen in a very rapid way, one after another. So when you have all these equipments, people don't need any, because then they can save themselves. In Europe, you need more this than anywhere in the world, because when the time comes, you need to be able to feed yourself. And as I said, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we see the results of the British departing EU, and it happened exactly the way we said it, because it's the way it was said to be. And now we see the departure of the Queen of England on the same basis as the other kings and the queens have departed in recent years. And then we see the man will come to the point. The America will be hit with different thing, and the Europe with the other thing. And then together, they come to the point they have to pay back time. Thank you very much for today. We'll see you on Thursday. The agricultural teaching is tomorrow morning, the medical teaching in the afternoon, and Thursday morning it'll be a fantastic time. We have some of our closest allies from Africa, from Europe, and from different parts of the world, showing us new technologies, new understanding. And in the latter part, we show you how scientists are murdered and how children are killed in the hand of one man. One of the most, what I call, with the evidence, very much, one of the biggest serial killers which has been amongst us, in sitting next to me for a long time, and most probably at night, skinning children. We'll show you the evidence. You'll be shocked. But come in, because you have to know where you're going. We throw a net and we caught the net. Now we show you how. We done exactly with Mr. Alan Sterling. It took 24 hours to come in. The scientists and the family they always wanted to know since 2000 how the man died. Now we explain. It's on the internet. We don't give you anything else. Because his patents or his knowledge out of nowhere is patented. The same as us. The reason we went totally opposed last year, because they went to do the same thing in China to patent, and then we found out, because they knew we are dying of poisoning. Exactly repeat of the same thing which was done with the scientists in Holland. They knew his dad is going to die, so they start patenting his technology. And that's why going to China was part of the patenting the technology. We open your eyes to a lot of things, but that's for the authorities to decide. And we played very, very open. That's why they said it was to protect. The assumption was, I'll be already dead. The way they killed another scientist, another one in Belgium. One of the biggest serial killers of scientists and children sits in Antwerp. We have enough evidence to press charges. Thank you very much for today. I hope you enjoyed it. The knowledge and the science is more important than one wicked man. See you on Thursday morning. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Thank you. Okay, that wraps it up for the 21st International Knowledge Seekers Workshop for June 28th, 2016. And as ever, thank you everybody for attending. Okay, stop the live stream. And we'll end the Zoom meeting. Bye, everybody.